Hi guys, so today I am doing a fun video because it is October, and October is my favorite month of the year, my favorite time of the year. Why? Because I am obsessed with Halloween, if you couldn't tell by this awesome scarf. And where I live, it's really pretty in October around this time of year. The leaves change, and it's really the last hurrah before winter comes rolling in to ruin everything. Yeah, it's my favorite. Seriously, like, I did not plan that. Yeah, I love Halloween. I love anything associated with it. I can just eat it up, I guess. I don't know if I, like, really eat it, but, like, I love it. So, along with Halloween, I just love, like, anything scary. I don't really get scared easily, like, not a lot scares me, so if it does scare me, then good job. It's scary. So I love horror movies. And I don't love all horror movies. A lot of them are just, like, god-awful. And if they're gonna be god-awful, then they better be funny and I better be laughing when I'm watching it. Because a horror movie that isn't funny and isn't scary is no movie at all. Some of my favorite horror movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I actually really liked the remake because when I saw it at the time I was younger and I was quite scared. And Jaws, I guess you don't really consider that a horror movie, or you could, but I do. I consider Jaws a horror movie because I was terrified when I saw that. I was also very young when I saw that. And I had nightmares forever. Like, I don't even know. I'd wake up and, like, see sharks above my bed. Or I couldn't even take a shower. I mean, I would, but, like, I'd have, like, the door open and I kept, like, looking and, like, I wouldn't close my eyes in the water because I'd be afraid I'd, like, wake up, like, in the middle of the ocean next to, like, a bunch of fins, a bunch of sharks. Tough life. Yeah, my all-time favorite Halloween movie, the classic Halloween. Dun-na-na-na-na-na. Michael Myers. I like the classic, the John Carpenter version, and I also love the remake by Rob Zombie, but only the first one, not the second one. The second one was a little too weird. I also had this hanging in my room. It's just like decoration. The thumbtack is right here to prove it. And yeah, that's Michael M, guys. That's Michael Myers. And I think this is like a little comic book. I don't know why we're getting a review here, but I don't know why not. I don't really know what's happening. I honestly looked through this. This is like so old, such a long time ago. Oh my god. Oh god. That's violent. Okay, anyways, without further ado, is about your sign as a horror movie villain. So I'm just going to go right down the list from Aries to Pisces and tell you who I think, what horror movie villain best relates with your sign. I'm not going to use like real, like serial killers or anything like that. Just horror movie fictional, or based on true, but fictional characters. So, let's begin. So Aries, I most relate you with Jaws. And you can fight me and say that Jaws is not a horror movie, but it is, because that shark is scary. The reason that I relate Jaws to an Aries is because, you know, the shark kind of acts on instinct. It's kind of an angry shark, and it's kind of impulsive and, like, you know, what's that word I'm looking for? Kind of like bullheaded, if that's even a term. So yeah, it's like very instinct-based. It kind of just acts, like, quickly on what it feels instead of really, like, thinking things through. I don't know what the shark would really think through. But it would. It wouldn't have eaten that big thing that, like, makes it explode in one of the movies if it was thinking clearly. Anyways, also, I would say Jaws is athletic. You know, he's quite the swimmer. And, I don't know, that's who I relate with an Aries. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun. We have Taurus, and for Taurus, you guys should be feeling good because I picked Michael Myers, who is my favorite horror movie villain. He's from Halloween. He's the guy I just showed you in the little comic book. And so I picked Michael Myers because he's very stubborn. He has this idea set in his head and he fixates on it, and he's very persistent. He's incredibly patient. He waits years before he goes back to his hometown, you know? I mean, he really takes his time. He waits till Halloween, too. Like, very patient, very persistent. and very routine-based. You know, he's only going out on Halloween for his killing sprees, doesn't really do much other than that. So for Gemini, I picked Regan McNeil. For those of you who aren't familiar with the name, she's the girl from The Exorcist. If I could do like a back crawl right now, I actually kind of can, but I'm not going to do it because that would just be weird. So Regan, or Reagan, I don't remember how they pronounce it, actually. That girl, the one from The Exorcist. I pick her because she's kind of like two people, and you know, Gemini is the twins, so kind of makes sense. She's an innocent little girl, and then she gets possessed by the devil and becomes a Hellion. And you know, she also has like a childlike energy because she is a child, so I thought as a villain, picking a child for a Gemini would be a good fit. So for Cancer, this one was like so easy for me. I picked Norman Bates from Psycho. So Norman has an unhealthy obsession with his mother, relationship, whatever you want to call it. It's very dark. You know, he's a definite mama's boy, he's sensitive, he's quite nostalgic. I'm not going to ruin these movies by giving away endings, but if you've seen it and you know Norman, then you know he's a Cancer. For sure. He has to be a Cancer. He could not be any other sign, or there would be problems with the astrological world. For Leo, I have Ghostface, you know, the guy from Scream, who's actually... I can't give away the answer. God, I'm so bad at this. The guy from Scream, with like the little mask and like the hood and everything. And the reason I am putting Ghostface as a Leo is because, you know, he's kind of like targeting a group of friends. He's elaborate. He wants to be the center of attention, very daring. You know, the killings or whatever he does are like I said, very elaborate, very like attention grabbing, and very Leo-esque. I don't think it's necessary. I do theme music for everyone. Yes, it is. Virgo, here's another one that just stuck out like a sore thumb, but no, for Virgo, I picked Jigsaw from the movie, well, the many movies of Saw, and the reason I picked Jigsaw is because he's so, you know, detail-oriented, he's so meticulous, he's very focused on his plan and getting it done right, he's smart, you know, and definitely follows through with what he plans. Libra, this one was kind of tough for me, I gotta be honest. I was torn between two, but I'm just going to share the one that I picked and leave the other one out. Alright, I'll tell you both. Alright, so for Libra, I picked Alex Forrest, who is a character in the movie Fatal Attraction. She's played by Glenn Close, if you've ever seen that movie. And the reason I picked her is because she's passionate, you know, she becomes kind of like too enthralled with the idea of being in love. You know, she's sexy, she doesn't want to be ignored. And it's all like very Libra-ish. And then the other choice I picked, which was actually my second choice, would be Baby Firefly, who is from House of a Thousand Corpses, and also from Devil's Rejects. She's played by Rob Zombie's wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, I believe her name is. The reason I picked her is because, you know, she's very flirty and attractive and alluring, you know, and secretly, she is, like, awful and very violent and terrible and kills people. But her outside persona matches that of a Libra, so that is why. Okay, so for Scorpio, I picked, let me just give a little warning here. This is kind of a spoiler, so if you don't want to know anything about Friday the 13th, then skip ahead. But if you don't care, here we go. So for Scorpio, I picked Pamela Voorhees, who is Jason Voorhees' mother, and in the original movie, she is actually Jason. So Jason, you know, is known as like this huge hulking creature with the big hockey mask on and whatever, and he's a massive person. But in the actual original movie, he is actually a her, and it's Jason's mother because Jason apparently died at Camp Crystal Lake or whatever when he was a little kid, and she's seeking revenge on like any camp counselor because, you know, she's got a little mental. So the reason that I picked her for a Scorpio is because, you know, she's seeking revenge, she's vengeful, She's also mysterious and hidden. You don't know that it's his mother until the end of the movie. You think it's a man. So it's a little bit, it's mysterious. It's secretive. I can't even believe my life right now because I totally forgot to mention Sagittarius. I was just like about to edit this video and I was watching through it and I was like, oh my god, I didn't mention Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, I picked Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. Can't leave out Freddy, even though I've always personally not been the biggest fan of Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Anyways, the reason I picked Freddy is because he's like kind of funny, he's wild, he's crazy, he's impulsive. Also, he's pretty optimistic and he really enjoys what he does, which is killing, and I'm not saying Sagittariuses enjoy killing. Freddy does, and he's very Sagittarian-like. So I definitely see Freddy as a Sagittarius. For Capricorn, I picked Jack Torrance from one of my other favorite movies, The Shining. And the reason I picked him, I'm not sure if they really mention it in the Stephen King remake, the one with Jack Nicholson, but they did do another remake, and the actual book, which I read, he's an alcoholic. He's like a pretty severe alcoholic, Jack. And, he becomes obsessed with his work. That sounds very Capricorn-like. He even writes down a quote, "All work, no play, makes Jack a dull boy." He actually loses his mind. So it makes Jack a crazy boy. He has like a slow but steady, that Capricorn way, slow but steady descent into madness. And yeah, I just picked him because I thought he best represented a Capricorn.
Here's Johnny.
That was so bad. They would never cast me in that role. For an Aquarius, I picked Hannibal Lecter, Clarice, from Silence of the Lambs, and the reason I picked him is because he's extremely intelligent. I'm pretty sure he's Dr. Hannibal Lecter. He's very charming, which a lot of Aquarians can be, even though they might not actually like the person that they're being charming towards. And he has kind of like a godlike image of himself. Like, he really thinks very highly of himself. And I'm not saying like all Aquariuses are conceited or anything like that, but they have more of like a feeling like their job is to help others, and they feel like responsible for big communities of people and beings. So that's why he, I believe, is very Aquarian. So last but definitely not least, we have our Pisces horror villain. For that, I picked Annie Wilkes, who is the creepy character from the movie Misery, also Stephen King. And the reason, if you don't know, Misery is about a writer who gets in a car accident, and then she kind of, takes him in because she finds him, and then she won't let him go because she's obsessed. So, it's a really creepy movie, and it's played by Kathy Bates, even creepier. She's kind of like a freaky version of a hopeless romantic. She's very obsessive. She's very fixated on this writer. She's kind of crazy and delusional and isn't really grounded in Earth. As we know, Pisces can like to live in their fantasy lands, so she's definitely who I would relate to a Pisces. I hope you don't mind that I'm prattling on about horror movie villains, but it's gotta be done. It's October. I didn't do anything festive in any of my videos last October, and I regretted that. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Thank you if you actually watch this, and I love you all. Happy October. I hope you love it as much as I do, and as always, have a good day or night. Unless you're in a horror movie with all these people I just talked about, and then run far away.